Welcome to Truth Uncompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by SourceVibrations.com. All right, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight is Thursday, July 14th, and we have a great show planned for you tonight. I'm going to bring on Sis Divinity. I know she's there. Sis, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, beloved. How are you tonight?
I am fantastic. How are you, sis?
I'm doing well. Was happy to play my jam by my favorite group, the baddest band, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I recently, before I forget, I ran across a movie that they were in, and I forget the title, y'all. Don't quote me on it. But long story short, because I love the band so much, I respect and love Maurice White, I went on ahead and watched a little movie. It's on Netflix, so anybody that has Netflix can look it up. And Harvey Keitel stars in the movie. The movie is about the record industry. And so it's about Harvey Keitel being a record exec. And he had Earth, Wind, and Fire as his band that he wanted to release their stuff because they're a bad band. But the record company wanted them to release this white band. And, I mean, they were like folklore, and so they pretty much made him put this white band before Earth, Wind, and Fire and made him produce the white band to a point where they became the mega superstars. So I'm not going to tell the movie, but I was impressed. Now, you know, this was back up in the 70s all day long that this movie was produced, but they were giving us insight on how the record industry works, on down to how you got to F your way to the top. So it's a really, it's kind of corny. It's not the best acting, but if you can sit through it and see the message and see the game, you like, damn. Earth, Wind, and Fire and them was trying to break it down to us back then. So I can't remember the name of it, but you can just go on Netflix. Type in Harvey Keitel movies or Earth, Wind, and Fire, and it'll come up. So I was just fascinated that they put that out there. Okay. So family, we have a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to go over the weekly news. Of course, there's a bunch of stuff jumping off as usual with that. And then Sis Divinity is going to get a little bit into the book of Jubilee. And then our beloved Brother Wendell is going to continuously bring it with the Lost Book of Enki. Oh, boy, that thing is like front row, like Grandma and Big Mama and them used to say, the stories. It's the best story there is. And so I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to bring in Brother Wendell. Let me get him. Okay. Here we go.
I'm not showing on the board. Something is not right.
I see you. It must be your board locked up. I see you. I see you talking and everything. So your board might be locked up. Yeah. Okay, let me bring on Brother Wendell. Greetings, brother. You there?
Greetings, greetings, greetings.
How are you, beloved?
I'm doing tolerably well.
Good. We ready for our Lost Book of Enki fix. I was sitting back this week and just, going over some of the stuff that you've taught so far, and I'm like, damn, this is just straight up like the best stories ever. Because it ties in everything. I mean, the fight for power, family drama, greed, ownership of land, ownership of assets. It's just fascinating. It's very, very fascinating. Yeah, and basically the same old, exactly.
We ain't even got into it yet.
I know you keep saying it, and then what straight blow my wig back, though, as Sis Divinity would say, I didn't even expect the connection with the Bible, though, Wendell. I'm like, hell to the no. I never would have expected that connection.
Oh, it get gooder and gooder.
I hear you. And I'm mad when my book is coming about. It will be here by the time the next one airs.
Yeah, it'll be here. And
you can download you a PDF copy.
She don't like PDF. She likes like you do. And then y'all it made me go back to buying books, and now I have both, like the PDF copy, and I have my book because I take my notes in the book. And
see, I knew I was real. I have the book and several other Zechariah Sitchin's books.
Yeah, I do too.
But my thing is that type of material, you don't have enough room in your book to write no notes, and I ain't finna mess my book up like that.
That's true.
I have sticky notes and stuff all over mine.
Yeah, that's how I do my book with sticky notes. But I write in my books too, but that's one that I already know that I'm going to just have to straight buy another copy because I'm going to mark it up, go through it. Because I'm waiting.
Mark it up. I told y'all what I get through it.
I know you got the notes. Yeah, because I can't wait to get a hold of your notes.
So see, my notes got a link that'll take you up on the website, on the web, and you can do whatever you want to do with it once you get it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm like, damn, we straight up in PhD now. Because I would say the creation story myths when we were on Terra Papers and some of the other texts, we were in graduate school. But once you get to the El Holy Tablets and this book of Enki, this PhD level, baby. I'm like, whoa! I thought the tablets brought it. Book of Enki is right up there. The Lost Book of Enki is right up there with El Holy Tablets. I have to hand it to them. It's right up there, hands down. Hands down. The two most detailed books I have ran across. Wow. Okay, well, we're going to get started with the news. So let's start with them straight up clowning, showing their behinds in the financial news world. Lot of stuff is jumping off. Last week we talked about douchebag bank, better known as Deutsche Bank, being the poster child for Lehman Brothers. So anybody that remember the 2008 crash, Lehman Brothers was the first financial institution that failed. And when that they used it as the sacrificial lamb. Okay, so when that failed, that's when the supposed and allegedly 2008 economic crash went into full swing. So I said last week that Deutsche Bank is like the Lehman Brothers in 2008. Okay, so lo and behold, now I'm just my little internet radio show, Mine and My So-and-So, blankety blank business. The next day, RT News posts where one of their talk show hosts, Mike Kaiser, is predicting that Deutsche Bank is the next Lehman Brothers, is proving portentous if the bank's latest issues are anything to go by. So it says the latest Kaiser report pulls no punches on Deutsche Bank woes. Max, who predicted the 2008 crash, negative interest rates, and the rise of virtual currencies, has long described the German bank as technically insolvent, pointing to its plummeting shares and its record loss of $6.8 billion in 2015. A comparison of Deutsche Bank shares prices to Lehman's in 2008 shows the German bank is at the point where its shares could become worthless, as Lehman's did, although Deutsche Bank is much larger than Lehman's ever was. Okay, so basically they show a clip of him talking about how liquid Deutsche Bank is, and he takes a glass of water and basically pours the shit out. So it says that the German bank's shares fell to a record low this week after it failed. We talked about this last week also. After it failed a U.S. Federal Reserve resilient test. So remember I said that the Fed Reserve is really auditing themselves, and now they are have to face the fact that they have to admit that they can't even pass their own damn audit test that they set up for themselves. Okay, so that's what he means when he says that. So it says the IMF said Deutsche Bank ties to the world's biggest lenders makes it the most important net contributor to a systematic risk for financial system. Okay, and then it just goes into saying how their shares are down, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And then the German finance minister had the audacity to claim that he's not worried about Deutsche Bank, has only added to the speculation around the too-big-to-fail institution, describing the global financial system as a game of musical chairs. Kaiser says, we have reached a moment when the music will stop and somebody's going to be without a chair, and it looks like that will be Deutsche Bank.
Oh, my goodness.
So right out of the playbook of what we talked about last week, it also goes back to me telling the family that we have to start looking at all of this from a higher level. Instead of being a pawn on the chessboard, you're supposed to be looking above the chessboard, predicting the next 10 moves. Predicting the next 10 moves. And, that's just one classic example right there where we had already said last week, and I've been saying that for the last couple months, that Deutsche would be the Lehman Brothers for this next financial crash. Okay, and so, go ahead, brother.
Let me say something about that quote-unquote stress test.
Yeah.
And the next 10 moves on the chessboard.
All
right. If they are the ones that set up the stress test, then be on the lookout for this little thing coming up again. Because the initial test is for them to be able to measure what they need to do to pass the darn thing.
And that's a very good point, because remember, before you implement anything, you always have to test it, right?
Yeah, so now they know how to manipulate it, so they'll pass it every time. So the next 10 moves on the chessboard is already in place.
Wow.
And see, the thing about them that just, and when I say them, and I'm gonna say the corrupt puppet elite, because even the elite or the corrupt cabal, they have controllers behind them, and the controllers behind them, we've already talked about that, are the hidden hand, which are melanated people. So let's be clear. But they use the same playbook. They don't vary from the playbook. It's the same exact playbook. Nothing has changed from the 2008 financial crash.
Nope.
It's just that people don't pay attention. They don't pay attention to the chessboard. So now that's just like for you men that's into sports, that somebody gives you your opposing team, the team you about to play, they give you their goddamn playbook.
Scouting report.
And you mean to tell me you can't defeat them? You know what moves they're going to make? That's why it's important for us to wake up and start looking at the patterns. If you know the patterns, you know what moves they're going to make. And you can already be 10 moves down the road because you be all like, I know the bullshit you finna do. It's the same exact thing. They're setting up a bank to say, oh, well, you know that because that bank failed, the rest of the stuff failed, therefore we need a bailout, blah, 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 blah. The difference this time is, I don't know where they're going to get it from.
Great one. There is no bailout.
Well, what they're attempting to set up is another aspect of fractional reserve lending.
Yes. Yes. But the only thing about it this time is they would only be lending, and this is why they can't sustain themselves this time, because even with that fractional reserve lending, because they kept getting greedy and kept tied into a global system, that they have to keep that going. And now that the rest of the global world pretty much has disconnected from them because they're isolated. So they can only lend to the people within their borders. And if the people within their borders don't have it, so what are they supposed to do?
No, listen to me. I'm not saying that. They took that same concept of fractional reserve lending. Now the first stress test is the deposit. Now they got 9 more moves on the chessboard. You understand what I'm saying? So they can manipulate it to pass the test. Yes.
Well, of course, that's just to pass the test.
Yeah.
But the rest of the people that's looking above the board saying, don't nobody give a shit about your test.
Bail out. Shit.
Exactly.
Wendell pissed over there.
Exactly, because we see it for what it is, and it just it really makes you nauseous at this point in the game. So then it also goes on to say, I just scanned some of the comments. A lot of times when I read these articles, I look at the comments from the people to see where their head is, and I was straight rolling, because why one of the little comments, and by the way, if you ever are looking at an article that is based in another country, always scan the comments, because what you're going to find is people in other nations They are so much more aware of what's going on in the world because they're able to, in the comments, kind of tell you what's really going on versus when you read the comments in the U.S. court media, it's some dumbass shit. They want to immediately jump on about some Democrat Republic. Obama did this, and the black people lazy, and I'm like, these some ignorant ass people in this nation. But if you look at the comments with people overseas, they be on it. Yeah. So this comment came and it stood out at me, and I just straight rolled. It said that as they're testing, doing their stress testing and failing, what about the U.S. court owing Germany 2,900 tons of gold and only gave them 3 tons? I was like, hot dog, tell it, baby. Whoa. You telling the truth. So that goes back to what I was saying, looking at the pieces on the chessboard. So how the hell they sitting up here stress testing some goddamn fiat when you then swindle the real assets of other nations, which are gold, precious metal, land, but you want to talk about some stress testing of some fake ass, and you can't even call it money, fiat. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was very, very interesting that immediately in another nation, they automatically saw through the BS and in the comments section saying, I don't give a damn about no stress test. What about that gold?
There you go. That's all they've got to fall back on is a fake fiat.
Exactly.
That's all they've got to bring forward.
That's exactly what they have. You're right. So the other thing in financial news that stood out real quick, and I don't know if we've talked about, it's been a while since we talked about it before. Black would know what I'm talking about on this. This comes out of RT News again, and this was on the 12th, and it says HSBC reportedly got top government help to hamper money laundering probe reports. Okay, so let me scroll down. Okay, so it says Chancellor George Osborne sought to influence a U.S. investigation into HSBC after the bank admitted laundering money for drug cartel and terrorists by warning prosecution could throw the global financial into turmoil. Let me read that again. So I want to make sure y'all hear this properly. Chancellor George Osborne, so that's the dude up out of Britain, sought to influence a U.S. investigation into HSBC after the bank admitted laundering money for drug cartels and terrorists by warning prosecution could throw the global financial system into turmoil. A U.S. House of Representatives committee report found that British Chancellor and Financial Service Authority intervened in a U.S. Department of Justice investigation into illegal activity by the banking giant. According to the report prepared by Republicans, the DOJ considered criminal charges in addition to a $1.2 billion fine it levied in December 2012, but it came under pressure from Osborne to drop prosecution. The report, Too Big to Jail, inside the Obama Justice Department's decision not to hold Wall Street accountable, said Osborne sent a letter in September 2012 to Ben Bernanke, then chairman of the Federal Reserve. So I hope you seeing how these fuckers operate. Excuse my language, but they didn't piss me off. Chancellor Osborne insinuated in his letter of September 10th that the U.S. was unfairly targeting U.K. banks by seeking settlements that were significantly higher than comparable settlements with U.S. banks, the report claimed. In the letter, Osborne wrote the questions over HSBC's continued ability to clear U.S. dollars would risk destabilizing the bank globally, with serious implications for financial and economic stability, particularly in Europe and Asia. In addition to Osborne, the then UK banking regulator, the FSA, also weighed in very strongly against a criminal prosecution, according to an email from a senior Treasury Department official. So somebody snitching inside the Treasury Department. Good. Yeah, good for them. The committee report also found that intervention from the FSA appears to have hampered the U.S. government's investigation and influenced DOJ's decision not to prosecute HSBC. If DOJ had gone ahead with the criminal prosecution and HSBC had been found guilty, the U.S. government would have had to review and possibly revoke the bank's license to do business in the country.
Wow.
Okay, so it says, then Attorney General Eric Holder subsequently overruled the advice of his own prosecutors who were pushing for criminal charges to be levied. In March 2013, Holder told the U.S. Congress that some banks were too large to prosecute.
Get out of here.
I am concerned that the size of some of these institutions became so large that it does become difficult for us to prosecute them when we are hit with indications that if you do prosecute, if you do bring a criminal charge, it will have a negative impact on the national economy, perhaps even the world economy, he said.
Oh, my goodness. What kind of sense does that make?
I mean, it can't get no clearer than that how it's all a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
They're going, they've been doing what the hell they want to do. And, even, now we talking, let's break this down. Let's just keep this real simple now. If this was Ray Ray from the hood, or Shaquita and them, that was laundering money from their little drug operation, you don't think they would be MF and prosecuted?
That's what I'm saying.
But you gonna sit up here and tell me that the bank is laundering drug cartel money. Oh, but they too big to be prosecuted and shut down?
Mm-hmm.
You got
exactly what you're saying.
You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Now, just real quick on HSBC, they have been dirty for centuries. That is one of the oldest banking institutions around. I'm trying to think of the name of the book. I think it's by a guy named Dean, and I think it's the 4-Horse Apocalypse. And the entire book is dedicated to banking. And he breaks down each banking institution's origin. And the biggest ones, he traced them to drug running, money laundering, stealing land for oil, et cetera, and and HSBC was at the top of the list back in World War I, they was kicking up dirt when the opium trade was really high, and a bunch of the Chinese and Japanese got strung out on it. That bank was dirty and a part of that drug trafficking and made a lot of money off of that. So if you ever want to know the origins of these banks, how they've been doing this crap for centuries, that's a book that's real good. I think it's called The Four Horsemen Apocalypse, and it's by Dean. Yeah, I can't think of the brother's last name, but it is an excellent book.
Something like that. I know who you're talking about.
It may be Dean Henson or Dean Henderson, something like that.
Yeah,
but that book breaks it down. So when I saw that about HSBC, it wasn't a shock to me because I had read that book, but it just, blows my wig back that we have in writing that yet again they've been busted with laundering money, and then some of the dumbass puppet officials got their name tied to trying to get them out of it. Not trying to, getting them out of being prosecuted.
Mm-hmm. That's how they roll with each other.
Yeah, that's how they roll with each other.
Wallow in the mud.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so we do have more news on our beloved Venezuela. We've been talking about them over the last couple of weeks because their economy has officially crashed, and it's gotten to the point now where the people are scrambling for food. There's food shortages, long lines of food. Folks making the decision to feed their children, and them not eating or eating once a day. So it's to the point now where people are starving. So, and by the way, they used to be one of the richest nations in assets. Their main asset was oil. Okay, and they overthrew Hugo. I say they bumped him off. I think Hugo died of cancer or something like that. So anyhow, it's been downhill for them since Hugo left, and they got the West in there, putting their puppet leadership in place. Okay, so this comes from RT News. This was yesterday, and it says, more trouble in Venezuelan city, and I call them Shitty Bank or Citibank, closing key accounts. Okay, and it says Citibank to close some Venezuelan accounts. Citibank says it will stop processes for certain accounts in Venezuela due to economic problems in the country. Following a periodic risk management review in Venezuela, Citi has decided to discontinue correspondent banking and the services of certain accounts in the country, the company said. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro said the accounts servicing, what did he say? Said the accounts belong to the country's central bank and the Bank of Venezuela, and described the move as a financial blockade. So basically what Citi is saying, that the central bank, which controls everything, they pulling the hell up out of Venezuela.
Oh, I tell you.
So that means no more fiat, none of that.
It's just walking all over the place.
That's it. Yep. That's it.
Wow.
So that's the only place that I saw that, and RT News didn't even do a full report on it. It was a quick blurb on it. So that's huge. That's huge. So even their own system, which is their central banks, and if you know how the central banks operate, you know that all of the circulation from the regular banks go back into the central bank. So both of them are defunct. They're saying, nope, we're not even going to have that central bank where the fiat routes back to the central bank so we can charge the government interest on this fake fiat-ass money. Even that has stopped.
Wow.
So that's pretty huge. That's pretty
That's
huge. So, yeah, so I'll continue to watch that. That's the only place. I didn't see it jump out anywhere else at me. So I'll continue to watch it and try to do a little bit more research to see if something else comes out on that. But Venezuela has definitely collapsed. So that's going to be interesting to see how they move forward from that.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so the other thing, the last story in financial news, and then we're going to move on. I saw, and I don't know if you all had heard of this. When did Pennsylvania start having financial trouble? I didn't know they were in trouble. So RT News came out today saying Pennsylvania approves a $1.3 billion bailout.
Bailout, yeah.
Pennsylvania lawmakers have approved a financial bailout after a year-long stalemate over the state's ballooning budget. The $1.3 billion revenue package marks the highest election year tax increase in the state's recent history. The grueling debate over Pennsylvania's deficit-ridden budget has finally come to a close for now. The $1.3 billion bailout package is a hodgepodge of tax increases, loans from the state's medical malpractice insurance fund, and new taxes on smokeless tobacco and electronic cigarettes. This makes Pennsylvania the last state to impose taxes on vaping and electronic cigarette products, the News and Observer reported. So I'm not going to read all this. It's just basically trying to say how they derived at that and what Republican senator was involved in it. Here's what I want the family to get out of this. First of all, let's break this down. There's two sides to this. First of all, 1.3 billion, that's heavy hitting. Second part, you trying to sit up here and MF and convince me that you're raising this type of revenue on some, I don't want to lie on it, these people. Let me get my story straight. On some loans from the state's medical malpractice insurance and new taxes on smokeless tobacco and electronic cigarettes, you trying to effing convince me. You trying to MF convince me. Why? That you're going to get $1.3 billion revenue off of that.
And sis, you said Pennsylvania is the state where the real de jure government is?
Thank you. See, I'm sending you cyber hugs. You got it.
Oh, wow.
So say that again for me.
Pennsylvania is the state where the real de jure government is.
Exactly. So, if the de jure, and when we say de jure family, that means the real seat of power, which is in, I want to say it's in Philly, okay? So the corporate Pennsylvania state side is bankrupt, okay? So now, which is huge to me within itself, because the original capital that our ancestors set up was in Philly. Okay, that's the de jure side. Okay, so that's always been the seat of power. So the de facto corporate side is bankrupt. But yet they're going to try to convince me that some smokeless cigarettes is going, and some malpractice insurance is going to raise $1.3 billion bailout. Okay, we're going to see how that works for you.
Yeah, that malpractice must be off the chart, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, so pay attention, family. You are seeing these corporate entities go belly up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not surprising. Anytime that you have the banks, which are heavily embedded in this whole perpetuated fraud, we know they're insolvent. We know that the bonds that they have typically sold, these corporate entities, meaning the states and the cities too, that they've typically sold as debt to take in revenue, ain't nobody buying that shit no more, because they will package that stuff up and sell it as investments overseas. Ain't nobody buying those toxic debts, because now they know that it's toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you're going to see these corporate entities, these states, these cities, they're corporate entities. They're bankrupt. So that's huge to me to hear that Pennsylvania claim they have a bailout package. So we'll continue to pay attention to that as well. We're starting to see more and more of these states and cities go bust. We heard about Illinois. We heard about Chicago. We heard about Detroit. So it's definitely happening. Okay, on the state level and the local level as well. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about, we're going to go to things that make you go, what stood out to me is two things. The first one is they came up with another dwarf planet that they done set up and found. And so RT News was kicking it this week. I did check other sources, family, but they was bringing it this week.
Right.
On the 12th, RT News had the title, 700 Years to Orbit Sun. New dwarf planet spotted beyond Neptune and Pluto. There go Pluto again.
Yeah.
It says, a team of astronomers have discovered a new dwarf planet in our solar system, and they dubbed it 2015 RR245. It is 120 times further from the sun than the Earth at its furthest orbital point. The icy worlds beyond Neptune trace how the giant planet formed and then moved out from the. They let us piece together the history of our solar system. Oh, so now you could piece together the history of our solar system, huh? Yeah, okay, whatever. Says Michelle Bannister of the University of Victoria in British Columbia, one of the researchers behind the finding. Whatever, lady. Almost all of these icy worlds are painfully small and faint. It is really exciting to find one that's large and bright enough that we can study it in detail. So I'm going to read that again. Almost all of these icy worlds are painfully small and faint. It's really exciting to find one that's large and bright enough that we can study it in detail.
Ooh.
Okay.
Large and
all right. Yeah, large and bright enough now. It says, so the newly discovered dwarf is estimated to be around 700 kilometers in size, not more than 5% that of Earth. It has one of the biggest orbits for a dwarf planet, however, taking some 700 years to travel around the sun. Worlds of this size are fascinating because they can potentially tell us what makes an object go from being an unchanging, lumpy, mashed-together structure of ice and rock to having a geological process that separates and rearranges its material as happened on Pluto. Researchers still have doubt about the dwarf's actual measurement. However, as they have yet to analyze its structure properties to figure out whether it's either small and shiny or large and dull. Okay, so basically, I'm not going to read the rest of it because they're starting to get into talking out of both sides of their neck. Okay, let's start what they kind of told on themselves when they said that it has one of the biggest orbits for a dwarf planet.
Double talk right there.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly. So if you have a big orbit, what the F are you orbiting around? You got to be orbiting around something else.
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking in Cole family once again. That is one of the planets that is part of Nibiru's solar system.
Bottom line.
Exactly. So they're just preparing you, talking in Cole every other week. Literally, I can't make this stuff up. At least twice a month. And I'm being generous by saying twice a damn month. They coming up with a new so-and-so planet that they done discovered. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yes, you're right.
And it's always outside of Pluto. Either the size of planet Earth or 10 times the size of planet Earth, whatever. So don't let them fool you. They are definitely talking about Nibiru's solar system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of that, I had an experience. Saturday, I was going to take care of some business, and I was actually talking on the phone with Sis Divinity, and I was about to get out the car, and I said, Sis. She said, what? I said, girl, why am I looking up out of the roof of my car, and the damn sun is sitting on top of my head? She said, yeah, it's getting to the point where when I have to look at the sun, I have to almost lean all the way back. I said, girl, yes, it's beaming on the top of my damn head. So we sitting on the phone. I'm looking at the sun, right? I'm looking up and seeing it at the top of my head, leaning my head back. All of a sudden, and she's a witness to it, I said, oh, hell no. She said, what? I said, girl, do you know the regular sun moved out the way and there's another sun behind there? And she said, what? I said, yeah. And then just that quick, I said, now it's gone.
Just long enough for you to peek it.
Yeah. I said, oh, hell no. Oh, I'm saying all that to say, I was sharing it with someone and they said, it may have been one of the planets. I said, I hadn't thought about it like that. So, family, I don't give a damn what they say, and I'm not the only one that sees this on a regular basis. Now, this wasn't even sunset at this time or sunrise. This was mid-afternoon. And just that quick, it had made an appearance. The regular sun moved up a tad as it made its appearance, and then it got back out of the way.
Yeah, as if for you to witness it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, well, thanks. So now I'm not sure if it is still that other dimension opening up, showing those other things, or if it's truly that the dimension is here, but some type of way the sky, they keep blocking things. So it's either one or two things, but those planets, the suns, the moons, that solar system, it is already here. I don't care what they say. That is why we're having these wild weather swings with all of these floods, with the jet stream dipping lower and all of that crap. So don't let them fool you by any measures, and just keep looking up at the sky, because you're going to find, you're going to see it too. Okay. Alrighty, so the last story we're going to go over is out of, this is things that make you go, And this one, Brother Wendell, you'll get a kick out of this. And Sis Divinity, you too, this will bring back some things that we've studied. This is out of RT again, and this was today. And it says, new dinosaur species discovered is the product of bad luck. So it goes, scientists, now this is going to blow y'all wig back. I'm like, these people, y'all messing with the wrong one. Okay, so it says, scientists working in Argentina discovered a new species of dinosaur, naming it Galacho. I could be pronouncing that wrong, or Galacho, meaning bad luck or a demon of local folklore. The name reflects the misfortune the scientists experienced on their trip, as well as the dinosaur's strange body. For 8 years, one Argentine farmer resisted allowing a group of scientists to visit his sheep field in Argentina's Patagonia region. But once he relented, a team of scientists working with Azara Foundation discovered a new dinosaur that dates back, check this out, y'all, 90 million years. Exactly. The day before the expedition was set to wrap up, studied co-author Pete Makovicki told USA Today that he jokingly instructed one of his workers to go find something. When it looked like his efforts were fruitless, what she found had long legs, tiny arms, and 4 fingers. The discovery was published Wednesday in the Science of journal PLOS 1. The creature's full name is Galacho Chanye, Galacho, for the misfortune experienced on the trip that included a flip truck, and Chanye after Aquino Chanye, the discoverer of the fossil, on a 2007 dig, according to the Chicago Tribune. The dinosaur is The dinosaur is notable for a few things. First, it has a very strange and silly-looking body. The 1,000-pound creature stood 6 feet tall or higher with long legs. The scientists believe may have made it extremely fast runner. However, its arms could belong only on a human child's body. What? With a puny reach. The Galacho is believed to have relied on its jaws to grab prey. James Clark, a paleontologist with George Washington University, is unaffiliated with the study, told USA Today that these dinosaurs were doing a lot, and now this is in quotes, y'all, were doing a lot of interesting things with their hands. This shows there's more going on than we thought, he added. The second unusual thing about the dinosaurs is that scientists are having a hard time figuring out where it belongs in history. While they can trace it back to the late Cretaceous period, the Galacho body places it in a unique category of a two-legged predatory dinosaur. Our new friend Glacho is believed to belong to the group called theropods, which include Tyrannosaurus, velociraptors, and other two-legged carnivores. However, while the Glacho arms are similar to a T-Rex, they are believed to only be a distant relative. The animal and T-Rex didn't evolve from a short-armed ancestor. Their ancestor had longer arms. Earlier ancestors of the T-Rex date back to 165 million years ago. The prototype theropod had longer arms and 3 digits, yet by the time the late Cretaceous period rolled around some 80 million years later, the arms had shortened and a finger was phased out. It begins to tell us a little bit about the story of how and why animals like T-Rex and other theropods reduce their forearms, McAfee said. Okay, so here's why I read that article. Let's start with Argentina. Okay. All right. It is rumored that when the World War II Nazi scientists from Hitler's regime was all busted up, that they never jailed them scientists. Okay? Some of them came over here and started working on secret covert operations. Some of them, including Hitler, fled to Argentina. Okay? It is reported that Hitler died in Argentina. He didn't die where they said they died. Now, in addition to that, when the scientists was over there, they were doing genetic experiments.
Boys
of Brazil. If you want to know what I'm talking about, peep the movie Boys of Brazil. They gave you a different location, but the location was really Argentina. So I'm saying all that to say I find it highly interesting that they come up with this article talking about they done found this dinosaur, that they don't know how to categorize the dinosaur, this, that, and the third, and the dinosaur is out of Argentina. So it leads me to believe that that's probably one of the reasons that they fled to Argentina, because they knew that a lot of those different species were already there, and they were perfect candidates to take their DNA and slice and dice.
Slicing and dice, yeah.
Exactly. And you can also watch The Island of Dr. Monroe, if you want to know what I'm talking about. There's several versions of that one. It's one that goes all the way back. I recently saw from the 30s that tripped me out, and all the way up to Marlon Brando. That's the most popular one, and they made a most recent one. All of that's talking about the experiments of genetic manipulation and cloning, all of that shit that they were doing in Argentina, and some say that they are still doing there today.
I believe it.
Absolutely.
They create a monster they can't control.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I hope they're the ones who have to deal with it.
Yep. Okay, well, that's all of the news. I am going to pause in case any one of you wanted to put anything on it. If not, we'll get right into the topic tonight.
Well, that was all really interesting, Sis.
Yeah, it was a lot of interesting stuff going on. So, Sis, how do you want to handle this? Did you want to do another chapter from the Book of Jubilee, or we can move right into the Lost Book of Enki?
I'll go ahead and do it because it's not really long.
Okay.
Wait a minute, what time is it? Because we need to give Wendell some pretty good
Yeah,
time.
because it's like 8 o'clock.
Go ahead and do your thing. Go ahead and do your thing.
Because you need some time on yours, Wendell.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying go first.
Yeah, no, we're gonna delay because we're at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
And
so you do yours.
yeah, we ready. Yeah. We ready to get cracking with the Lost Book of Enki. So, Brother Wendell, you want to give like a quick overview of where we left off last?
Well, really.
Let me see. I wrote it down.
Hold on just a minute. It's so much of that stuff.
I know. Because my last memory.
The biggest piece was that we got to see how the different groups were identified and where the names come from.
Yes. So do you have that information available?
Yeah, I do. And do call the ones on Mars the Gigi, or they talk about it in the Book of Enoch, the Gregory, and the ones on Earth will be called Anunnaki. That's where that comes from.
Right, and they Dr. York also mentioned the Igigi in the El Holy Tablets, and what stood out to me now, Anu was all the way back in Nibiru, right?
Yep, and he's talking to him down here on Earth.
Exactly, when he straight made that announcement. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yep.
So
he made the announcement for Nibiru, but see, we had, leading up to that, we had several instances where they had those type of communication devices.
Mm-hmm.
Even including, devices that they were actually the Tablet of Destiny for each spacecraft.
Right.
And they could control that thing once it got to within a certain proximity of the planet.
Right. Well, and then what blew my wig back, Brother Wendell, you the one put this out here, and I'm like, oh, hell no. When you said that I knew classified folk.
Yeah.
The Gigi are the beings on Mars, and the Anunnaki are the ones on Earth. And you said, could this be the first record known of nationality?
Yep. Because the reason I stated it like that is because if you go back to the let's just take the Bible for instance. When a child is born, that child is actually a nation.
Yes, I can.
I can see that.
What I'm saying?
I can see that.
That's why I stated it like that, because that's how. If we go back as far as we can, we'll find that actually is the case.
Right, and what I kind of pointed out is that if they all came from the same place, now I'm only talking about the two categories of folk that Anu classified, because that's what that is. That's a classification. The Igigis and the Anunnaki, they were of the same bloodline. So Brother Wendell, and I don't know, it could have been me, said, is this where we also had a split in the bloodline?
Well, you got to keep in mind something that I mentioned, I don't know how many months ago, that at that particular time, they were called the fallen ones. In other words, the original creation took place somewhere else because they were already fallen.
Yes.
So, in other words, they couldn't be the same bloodline if the fall had already taken place. And
now,
the
when you say that,
the reason they brought them to Mars is because they were serving them on Nibiru, and they brought them down to Mars to serve in that mission.
Right, but are the Mars?
Part of the problem was with the fallen ones is they did not want to reverence Yah's creation or the Creator's creation.
Yes.
So they got cast down. That didn't happen on Earth.
Right. But my question to you though is, there's no way they could have been in that bloodline of the Nibirians. I see where you going with it.
You see what I'm saying? They had already serving them on Nibiru. They had already fallen. They were serving them on Nibiru, and remember this, before they were brought down to Mars for the mission, remember, Anu had promised Anzu that he would be, if he survived after he took a Lelu up there, if he was be still living when they came back through on the way to Earth, then he would appoint him as the leader and would give him his own crew. But they didn't tell him who the crew was going to be.
The damn fallen.
The fallen ones.
Wow.
So that's why I said a long time ago, the original creation did not happen down here.
And you said the fallen ones did not take place on Earth.
I'm saying the original creation did not take place on Earth according to this information right here. Because if they were called the fallen ones before they were called the Ajiji, which means the same thing, the watchers of the fallen ones, they were already fallen when they were brought to Mars.
Wow.
So we both like, damn. And see, I guess the missing picture that we're getting up out of the typical fallen angel story that's passed along is that they fell from heaven to earth. And what Stitchin says in Lost Book of Enki and what Dr. York says in the El Holy Tablets, that they fell, these Ajijis were dispatched to Mars.
Wow.
The Lost Book of Enki proves that.
Yeah.
They were dispatched to Mars for the mission.
So let me ask you this then. So, when they say that they had failed, because number one, they was clowning, trying to overthrow stuff. Then the second reason is that they came unto daughters of men. So did that also happen in off of Earth? That they was
no, that's what they did on Earth. And we're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get there. Okay,
yeah,
so don't go there yet till you ready. Okay, but the point being is that they were already kicked out on Mars, and but you're saying that they were not part of the bloodline.
No, that's impossible. Cause that's part of why Anu gave them that title or that nationality to distinguish one from the other.
Oh.
See, when they were at home on the planet, and if they were serving the Nibirians on the planet, they already knew that. But see, when you're on a mission, they got the job that they got to do. They back and forth and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to make a distinction who is who.
Damn.
That's just like going in a Ford plant.
Mm-hmm.
Where they got all these parts and they assembling the car. You can't have the folks down here with the doors down there with the folks putting the tires on.
Okay.
I got you.
Wow.
You
So
got to know who is who. So when the folks down here that's supposed to be putting the tires on and down there where they putting the doors on, you got to straighten that out. Hey, man, go back down there where you're supposed to be.
Right.
Even though you know they're there, you understand what I'm saying? They can easily mix and mingle and screw something up.
So then basically that kind of also is saying that on Nibiru there was different beings, or whether not you want to say classifications or nationality, and then obviously this particular group wasn't abiding by what they were supposed to be doing, and they got dispatched to Mars.
Well, you remember now, you got to remember, on their way to Earth, they tested the air quality, and the air quality was not good enough for them, feasible for them to, to live on that planet.
Right.
So Anu, instead of putting a lot of the Nibirians at risk, he left only 20 of them plus Anzu to get the buildings and everything ready. And then when they shipped the Ijiji down there, they sent them down to Earth, which means apparently they could survive on Mars without getting sick and dying out.
That makes sense. Wow. That makes sense.
That's interesting.
That is. That's real interesting.
See, you have to remember all the little detail stuff. That's why I go through it, because it tells you, gives you a more detailed picture of why things happen the way it did.
Right.
Wow. So then that proves, well, we already knew that there was beings on Mars because Alelu, he was already chilling there, him and his boy. And then his daughter had dropped by when he passed, and they built a little monument from him. And then the Ajiji were dispatched there. So it kind of backs up the quote folks that they want to call conspiracy theories that talks about the face of the man on Mars and people seeing city structures and stuff on Mars. That backs that up.
Yeah, and see, what you have to keep in mind, you got people out here that'll say this and that about the cuneiform. This stuff is you got this guy got this stuff off of artifact. He didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And
you can go to the British Museum or all these other museums and whatnot and find this information if you can read it.
Right, and cuneiform is the language of the Anunnaki.
It's the written language of the Nibirians, but we don't know what their spoken language is or was.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is the written language. That's true. True that.
Language of the Nibirians.
Right.
Which was supposedly, as far as we know, the first written language on this planet.
Exactly. Wow. The first real language. Yep. True that. Woo! Okay, brother. Well, thank you for that recap. You brought up some more stuff that I wasn't making a connection. So cool. Thank you for that.
I got that written down.
I know that was a lot.
Yeah, and the second major point was that the mother of Ninma. Who was that?
The mother of whom?
Okay. Ninma.
Okay. Which later becomes they give her another name, Ninosarg and all that, but that's who that is.
Okay, and I gotta go back to my little cheat sheet, but
we you fixing to find out.
Okay. So I ain't gonna spoil it.
You got to find out. She was doing some things off the chain.
Okay. Oh,
all right,
boy.
All right. And where we left off was after that. At this point, Enlil had never married on Nibiru, and they got married on Earth. And it was kind of a weird sequence of events. And The account of that is one of rape, exile, and love that brought forgiveness. And then he eventually had more sons that were only half brothers. So we start out with an excerpt, because this is what it is: the account of Enlil's deviant behavior and marriage.
Okay.
On earth it was summer. To his abode in the cedar forest, Enlil retreated. In the cedar forest was Enlil walking in the cool of the day. In a cool mountain stream, some of Nimmer's young ones, to the landing place assigned, were bathing. You got to remember where, also a major thing is you got to keep in mind of where these different places are.
Mm-hmm.
All right? The cedar forest is in the mountains of Lebanon. That's where he built it. That's where he built his house.
Right. I remember you talking about that. He built that landing strip.
Yeah, because he couldn't deal with the heat down there down around the Persian Gulf.
Okay.
So he had to find him a cool place, and he built him a crib and all that.
Okay.
All right. By the beauty and grace of one, Sue was her name, Enlil was enchanted. To his cedar abode, Enlil her invited. Come, partake with me in the elixir of Nibiru's fruit that grew here. All right, you got to recognize it now.
That's interesting that he said that Nibiru's fruit that grew here.
Yeah.
I would love to know what fruit that is. We're gonna find
out. It's coming, but it's going down in here a little bit. You'll find out what it is. I can't say it's 100%, but they name the fruit. But in the glossary, they don't explain what that fruit is. But if you do a little research, you can kind of get an idea of what it is because of certain events that happen down through history.
Wow.
All right?
Okay.
All right. Sue into Enlil's abode entered. The elixir and a cup to her, Enlil presented. Sue drank, Enlil drank too. To her, Enlil of intercourse was speaking. Unwilling was the last. My vagina is too low. It knows not copulation. To Enlil she was saying. To her, Enlil of kissing was speaking. Unwilling was the last. My lips are too small. They know not kissing. To Enlil she was saying. Enlil laughed and embraced her. He laughed and kissed her. His semen into her womb he poured. To Nimmer, Sue's commander, the immoral deed was reported. Enlil, immoral one, for your deed judgment you shall face. So did Nimmer to Enlil in anger say. In the presence of 50 Anunnaki, 7 who judged were assembled. Seven who judged on Enlil a punishment decreed. Let Enlil from all cities be banished to a land of no return. Let him be exiled. In a sky chamber, they made Enlil leave the landing place. Abgar was his pilot. To a land of no return, Enlil was taken, never to return. In the sky ship, the two of them journeyed. To another land was their direction. There, amidst forbidding mountains, at a place of desolation, Abgar, the sky chamber, landed. This is your place of exile, shall be. Abgar to Enlil was saying, not perchance have I chosen. To Enlil he was saying, a secret of Enki in it is hidden. In the nearby cave, Enki's 7 weapons of terror was hidden. From Alelu's celestial chariot he had them removed. Take the weapons into your possession, with the weapons of your freedom obtained. So was Abgar to his commander saying, a secret of Enki to Enlil he did reveal. Then from the secret place Abgar departed. Enlil alone was left there. In the evening, Sue to Nimmer, her commander, words were speaking. By Enlil's seed I am pregnant. A child of Enlil in my womb has been conceived. Nimmer Sue's words to Enki conveyed. The Lord of earth he was. On earth he was supreme. They summoned Sue before 7 who judged. Will you take Enlil as your spouse? Now, is this the origin of marriage vows?
It is, and so he knocked the little woman up.
He didn't knock her up. Now she got to be the one to make the vow. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Well, okay, all right. I'm gonna let you finish it, but I got some questions.
Yeah. Okay. Words of consent she uttered. the words by Abgal to Enlil in his exile were conveyed. To his spouse Su, Enlil from his exile was returned. By that did Enki and Nimba to him a pardon give. Enlil's official spouse Su was declared. On her the name title, Ninlil, Lady of the Command, was bestowed. Thereafter to Ninlil and Enlil a son was born, Nanar, the bright one. Ninlil named him. He was the first of the Anunnaki on earth to be conceived, one of Nibiru's royal seed on an alien planet to be born. That tells you right there. I remember way back here a few months ago, that somebody throw it in, something about Enoch being the first one. No. Nanar was the first Nibirian born, full-blooded Nibirian born on earth. Enlil's son.
Wow.
Okay, so my question is, let's go back to him wooing this woman. Okay, that's where I was just trying to get clear. If she was telling him, no, I don't want to do it, whatever, and he forced himself on her. So you answered that question. The second question is, so she was a Nibirian also. Yeah.
She was one of the ones that came down with Nimba. You remember she brought down the 50 nurses. She was one of the nurses.
Okay, that's where I was confused at. I had forgot that. Okay, so that's why he had to be brought up on trial, because he raped her and got banished and all that. Then she got pregnant, and they basically was like, well, do you want to marry his behind? And so she went on, and the first pure Nibirian was born here. Got you. Okay, right. I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Now, another thing.
I told you Enlil was a shit starter and a rapist. Now we could add that into it too.
Because his name is always jumping off.
And some drama, exactly.
Yeah. Another thing to keep in mind, because it's going to come back up, is when he was taken into exile, I couldn't find the land of no return. So that's got to be somewhere up in the mountains. They took him somewhere up in the mountains where they had hid the weapons.
Yeah.
The logical place would be probably somewhere up in the Caucasus Mountains somewhere. Oh. Because remember how they treat you when they convict you.
Yeah, you out of there.
You got your punishment coming, but they ain't gonna dog you out, because they proved that when a lady was taken to Mars, his accuser took him there, gave them what they needed and everything. They don't dog you out when you get convicted. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say they probably took him to Caucasus Mountains, because it's cool. You see what I'm saying?
You know that's deep, don't you? You know that's deep, don't you?
Yeah, that's further north. You see what I'm saying?
Man, oh man.
That's where knowing the location or having an idea, because all we have is what we have. That's where having an idea of where the location of these things took place, so you can, kind of see where other things happen after that.
Whoa, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there with no extra theories, but that's deep.
Yeah, you can, because we trying to figure this thing out. All we have is what we have.
Yep.
And see, and another piece of that too is, they made a mistake by letting Abgal be the one to take him to exile, because he took him straight to the nuclear weapon that Enki had took off of Anzu's spaceship, off a Lelu spaceship and hit them because they wasn't supposed to use them.
Right.
Now Enlil got his hands on the weapon.
That's very interesting because, we know that Caucasus Mountains has always been rumored, not rumored, it was fact, that it was exile place for other folk also.
Yeah.
I knew that's what you were.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. And if anybody, you used to be able to pull it up on Google Maps, but they blocked it. You could pull it up, but the image is blurred. But when you were able to see it, you see how isolated it is, and it sits between the two continents. It backs up against Asia and Russia and them, and then it's that, and then you have like Europe and stuff. So it's definitely a damn place you don't want to be.
Yeah.
Wow. The Caucasus Mountains.
Very interesting. Okay, brother.
Now here come Enki with his mess.
So now Enki is ruling because in Leo, the shit starter and rapist that he is, got banished.
Well, Enki was already been declared Lord of Earth before that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because remember when when Anu came down the last time, that's what that was all about.
Right.
And Alelu got cut out the deal, and all that stuff happened. So at that point, Enki was the ruler. All right, this is the excerpt on Enki. Now Enki gets sent home packing, back to square one. LOL. I laughed my tail off when I read this thing. I laughed for 3-4 days.
Okay.
All right, here we go. It was after that Enki to Ninmah was speaking. Come be with me in Abzu. In the midst of the Abzu, in a place of pure waters, an abode have I established. With a bright metal silver is his name. It is embellished. With a deep blue stone, lapis lazuli, it is adorned. Come, Ninmah, be with me. Your adoration of Enlil abandoned. To the Abzu, to the abode of Enki, Ninmah then journeyed. Enki there to her words of loving spoke, of how for her each other intended. Sweet words to her he whispered. You are still my beloved, to her he said, caressing. Now you got to remember why he's saying that, because Anu wanted her to marry him, but she had a thing for Enlil, and her and Enlil had a son by the name of Ninurta.
Okay.
All right. He embraced her. He kissed her. She caused his phallus to water. Enki his semen into the womb of Ninmah poured. Give me a son, he cried out. She took the semen into her womb. The semen of Enki her impregnated. One day of Nibiru was a month of earth for her. Now we got a little math problem right here. I'm going to let y'all figure that out.
One day of, say that again, one day
of Nibiru was a month of earth for her.
9 days. She had the baby in 9 days.
9 days.
Nah.
9 days will equal 9 months.
I'm gonna give you a clue. But all this stuff gonna be explained in good detail when we get on down in there. But I'm gonna give you a clue. We were given 2 accounts. Before they came to Earth, they spent 2 showers getting things together and making plans before they even came down here. They spent 7,200 years.
Right.
All right. When they got ready to start mining, they did the same thing. 7,200 years. You're gonna find out that number is very important.
Okay.
We'll just say X equals 2 numbers. I'll let y'all figure that out.
I mean, if I add 7 plus 2, that's 9.
Nah.
Well, I don't get it then.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay.
2 days, 3 days, 4 days of Nibiru, like months of Earth they were. 5, 6, 7, 8 days of months were completed. The 9th count of motherhood was completed. Nema was in travail. To a child she gave birth. The newborn was a female. All right, so that makes the second full-blooded Nibirian born on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
On the banks of the river in the Abzu, a daughter to Enki and Nema was born. Enki, by a daughter, was disappointed. Kiss the young one, to him Nema said. Kiss the young one, Enki to his advisor Ismu said, a son I desire, a son by my half-sister I must have. Again he kissed Nema, by her loins he grabbed her. His semen into her womb he poured. Again she was with child, again a daughter to Enki she bore. Right. A son by you I must have, Enki to her cried out. Nema he kissed again. Thereupon Nema against Enki, a cursing to her. She put a curse on him.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever food he ate was poison in his innards. His jaw hurt, his tooth hurt, his ribs were hurt. Is this the first account of the use of voodoo or working roots on her?
Exactly. She fixed his ass. So you gonna continue to get an attitude with me? Okay, then I got something for you then. She put a root on his butt.
Ishimu, the Anunnaki summoned to Nema for relief, they were pleading. To distance himself from Nema's vulva, Enki, by raised arms swore. I laughed so hard.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me make sure I heard you right. To distance himself from her vulva, is that what it said?
Yeah.
To distance himself from her privacy. Oh, really?
I laughed so hard when I read that.
I find that hilarious because he should have left her the hell alone. He said, I
laughed so hard when I read. Now, for the people out there that don't know what this is, I gotta better get these notes. I got a diagram of everything to show these are females in the tail, the external pieces of it, all apart.
I tell you, he is a mess.
She put the roots on it.
You can't tell me that that's not our people. He kept talking shit, and she was sitting back, talk shit one more time.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's continue.
Oh, boy.
One by one, his ailments removed. From her curse, Enki was freed. To the Eden, Nema returned, never to be a spouse. Anu's command was fulfilled. To earth, Enki, his spouse Damkina, with their son Marduk summoned. Ninki, lady of earth, the title she was granted. By her and by concubines, Enki 5 more sons had. These were their names: Nagal, Jubilee, Nenagal, Ningashita, and Demuzi, the youngest. Marduk makes the 6th one because he was the oldest.
Okay.
All right, now I got a special note right here. Enki made a fatal mistake when he tried to force Nema to have a son with him. It was not her destiny to do so, because remember, she had a son by Enlil.
Okay.
Now this is the question that I had asked. If she was a clone created by Damkina, she was destined to have a son by Enlil and not by Enki. And if so, Nema was under the control of Damkina all along. Damkina was protecting her interests across the board. All right, now let me stop right there. That may sound out of place to you because you don't have the notes, but up here we was talking about her being Alelu's daughter. I went and did some research on that name, Damkina, and and this was a trip because her mother was named Namu or Nama, which I found out. I don't know how accurate it is, but which I found out is actually Anu's wife.
So that's Anu's daughter.
Which explains why Anu and Alelu had friction between them, because Alelu was her wife before it was his. That's why Damkina was firstborn daughter with a capital F. I remember I said, well, she had to be the daughter of a king. I remember they called that she was referred to as princess also. So she had to be the daughter of a king. So she got these three different attributes working here within all of this stuff. But she can't be in three places at one time unless she created another one of her.
Wow.
Now, was she like, she was the high scientist?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So I think I remember her in tablets as being known as the high scientist that was responsible for just what we talked about before, genetic creation or DNA manipulation.
Yeah.
The Lego.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got to remember this too.
My sister, what's her name, Brother Wendell? Danica.
Damkina.
Damkina.
Yeah, Damkina.
It's a high scientist. Okay.
See, that was her name as the daughter of Alelu. But see, when remember Alelu, as part of the deal with Anu, he had to give him his daughter, which was her name. Her name was Damkina at the time.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But this was after. This was after Anu had married her mother.
Got you.
Wow.
Which Alelu had this child by. That's why they had friction between them, because he had got his old lady and the daughter. He had to give up the daughter.
And see, they always trying to use the women for their manipulation purposes, and it always backfires on them. But okay, I digress. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So basically, that's why Enki couldn't get what he wanted, the son, because Damkina had already set it up. Because in my note, this let me finish this right here. This is my note. Okay.
Also, she used Ninma to check Enki. He either was ignoring it or he was that much full of lust, or both. Enki had what he desired all along. She knew it was her destiny not to have a son with him, so she gave him another one that would have the sons for her.
Wow.
She gave him what he wanted all along and what he needed all along, but he wanted to try to make her do it, and it wasn't her destiny to do that. So she had to put that thing on him.
Right, to get her up off of.
She had that whole affair that she had to prove to him that she couldn't have no sons with him. And he pissed her off, and she put that thing on him.
Right,
and sent him home packing.
That is so funny. Plus, I'm sure she got tired of, having children. It's like, I know it's gonna be a girl. I don't feel like it. Go ahead on about your business.
Yeah, but she had to prove that to him. And then what ended up happening, like I said, she sent him home packing. And what did he do? He go home and have some bars by the one that she had created for him.
There it is, right there. Wow.
That's a lesson for the brothers out here. You got what you got at home, man. Stop all that mess.
There you go.
Well,
you got what you need at home.
You know, most don't learn that, so they got to keep bumping their head.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
But see, the roots that they put on you now is that child support.
Hell to the no, why I got to be the child support?
I'll just say this. It's not in every case, because it ain't true like that in every case. But in a case like this one, see, he didn't want to have nothing to do with them because they were girls.
Right. Wow. And that's where he was wrong up in the matter.
He was wrong. So she put that thing on him. You see what I'm saying? But like I say, they put that thing on you now, but they get you caught up in that court system.
And see, and if for you brothers, now that's just the sisters that don't know how to work that voodoo.
Yeah.
But those of us that do, keep effing with us. Keep on. Keep on. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what I was just saying, sis. That root is being put into play again today.
Exactly. It's like, keep on playing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now my question behind that is this. It was two questions. Is this evidence of the power that our ancestors possessed? And is this an example of the power that our women have today when used properly and wisely?
Number 2.
Thank you. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. Now you heard it from the brother. I didn't even put it out there.
I just threw out.
Yeah, see, she was actually looking out for him, but he was ignoring that because she had already gave him what he needed to have his boy, because it wasn't her destiny to have boys. And that same thing plays out today, because some women don't have nothing but girls, and some don't have enough of boys, and some have a mixture.
Right? Absolutely. Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
That's a pretty cool story, because there's so much stuff tied up in that. But what stands out to me the most, Brother Wendell, is that it shows how the woman controls the essence of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can't argue with that. But the problem, the thing is, like I stated in the question, to make the point is, our women have all sorts of power, but she forgot, and she don't know who she is, don't know what kind of power she got, and then if somebody turn her on to what she got, then she gonna abuse it because she don't know what's up.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
Right, you do have to be careful. You do. But on the flip side of that, prophecy states that, that the shift of power is happening again to bring us back in balance, because the woman has lost her position. And specifically the melanated woman has lost her position, and which is why the main reason we are out of balance. So it is going to take the melanated women that do enter and understand what that power is to start educating and nurturing the other ones to know how to use it wisely for the greater good on behalf of the nation or the planet, or the planet and or the universe. So I'm totally 1,000% agreeing with you. So we are going to get back to that point where the women know who they are and what position and role we play in this whole scheme of things. But that's to you brothers. Now, that's not my brother Wendell's. That's not my Oracle Tahuti's. That's not a lot of my brothers that I'm in contact with that's even supporters of this show, because you know the power of the woman, and specifically the power of the melanated woman. This is to you brothers that think that the male energy rules. Mm-hmm. You better sit it down, and you better sit it down quick, because that's not what it's about.
Yeah, well, see, this if y'all remember, the book opens up with the celestial battle.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed the woman, if you use your power unwisely, then you're going to be put in check.
Exactly.
Because remember, Talmud.
Right.
She created her own little crew and put a tablet of death on King Goog's chest and said, "Go out there and beat up on him," because she couldn't wait for the law to come.
Right.
And she got chastised. She got chastised, and then put in another place, and another one took her place that would do the right thing.
Exactly. So, what I'm saying all that to say is because right now we do have an unbalance of power, and right now the society is run as a patriotic society, and it's not working because we're out of balance. It's the mother, the woman, that births the nation and nurtures the nation, and it is the man. We talked about this last week. Protect, provide, and prepare. Okay? So that is why we're out of balance. So the point I'm trying to make is that some of the brothers that are running around here still wanting that patriotic society, it's not going to work.
Sure
it has not been working.
Let me make a comment to that, a point to that.
Bring it.
And it's going to come up later on in this book to prove what I'm saying. The man's job is to do what's necessary. The woman still runs from behind the scene because she ain't got no business touching that. That's management.
Say that again. Now, see, it came from you. It didn't come from me. Say it again.
The man's job is to do the work and do the protection, but the woman still runs things from behind the scenes. That's management. Now, it appears that we're in a patriarch, but we're not. Right. Because there's a woman involved somewhere behind the scenes. But see, what they've done is got off on a tangent and thinking they got power, and one day they're going to get checked, they're going to realize they ain't got no power, they're going to have to sit down and just do what's necessary.
Real soon.
Now, that don't mean be a footstool for nobody.
Right.
Because there's women out here that will abuse a man when they see him trying to do the right thing.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
That straight up ain't right.
See, you got see, to get in that realm of thinking, you have to be mature enough to even deal with that, because you can't. Ain't nobody got no business abusing nobody.
Exactly. Or making nobody beneath or below them.
That's right. There's a balance to the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And whatever woman is allegedly in charge, because if you want to say it's Queen Lizzie, we know she ain't fit to run a god doggone thing, nor does she have the proper energy. So whoever it is, it's out of balance. They're not in their rightful place, and they are being removed. So pay attention, family. This is the chess moves that I was talking about last week, and looking above the board, being 10 moves ahead. So very, very good analogy, Brother Wendell. Okay.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yes.
All right. Now, following these events, Enlil and Nimrod summoned their son, the Nerda, to Earth. Ninurta was Enlil's first son by Ninmah, born on Nibiru. So they bringing him to Earth now. Later, Enlil and his spouse Ninlil have another son, Ishkur, who was a full brother to Nannar. All three of Enlil's sons were full-blooded Nibirians. None were born by a concubine. This was the establishment of two clans on Earth, the Enlilites and the Enkyites. Their rivalry.
Say them Inks again.
the Enlilites and the Enkyites.
Okay. Okay.
And now their rivalries would later lead to wars. So now, if you pay attention, they are always in competition.
Yeah.
See, because what Enlil did, Enki came right back and did something else. They always in competition.
Sibling rivalry.
Yeah. All right. Now after that, I started doing the name chart to keep up with who is who and what their relationship is to who.
Okay.
I ain't gonna go over that because that thing is right now it's about 12 pages.
Oh my goodness.
But I tell you what I do. I'll do this right here. I go over the first part of it. I call it name chart 1, which is the line of An, the first king of Nibiru, and his spouse An.2. The three sons they had: Enki, Enlil, and Enuru. Enki was the brother of Enlil and Enuru. Enlil, because remember, Enki didn't have any sons, so he stopped right there. He done. He realized the picture. Enlil was the brother of Enki and Enuru, father of Anshirgal with his spouse Ninib, uncle to Enama, great uncle to Anu. Anshirgal was which is his son, which is the grandson to An and Antu, father of Elam with concubine, nephew to Enuru, first cousin to Enama, second cousin to Anu.
Mercy.
Then we got Elam under him, the great-grandson to An and Antu, grandson of Enlil, son of Anshirgal, father of Alelu, second cousin to Enama, third cousin to Anu. Then under him is Alelu, the great-great-grandson to An and Antu, great-grandson to Enlil, grandson to Anshirgal, son of Elam, fourth cousin to Anu, fifth cousin to Enlil and Enki. All right, the third son, Enuru, brother to Enki and Enlil, father of Enama with his spouse Ninuru, uncle to Anshirgal, great uncle to Elam, great uncle to Alelu. Then under him came Enama, grandson to An and Antu, son of Enuru, father of Anu with his half sister, nephew to Enlil, first cousin to Anshirgal, second cousin to Elam, third cousin to Alelu. Anu was under him, great-grandson to An and Antu, grandson to Enuru, son of Enama, father of Enlil and Enki with his spouse Antu, great-nephew to Enlil, second cousin to Anshirgal, third cousin to Elam, fourth cousin to Alelu. Enlil, son of Anu and Antu, and he's the legal heir. Enki, the son of Anu and Ninlu, firstborn son with a concubine, great-great-grandson to Anu and Antu, and great-great-grandson to Enuru, and grandson to Enama. So you can imagine what this chart looks like 12 pages down.
Woo. Oh,
yes.
Woo. Seriously.
Got you.
Now, the reason I figured I needed to do this because I found several quote-unquote family trees, and they had lines drawn everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know who the hell is who, and so I said, I'm going to have to do this another way. So I know when they come into the picture, according to this book, what their relationship is to who. And it gets real long. Right? That's the initial chart right there, but the rest of them, I have fell in charge right now because, like, every time when they start the experiment, that gets wild, and they stay to having children, and
right.
And I mapped out the relationship just like that on each one of the people that comes up in this book and the generation that they're in, down from the parents.
Wow.
It's real interesting.
It sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to get this book.
All right. Now things are rolling with the gold mining operation. Gold was delivered from the Absolute down in South Africa to the landing place, which is Baalbek, Lebanon. The gold was transported in rocket ships from the landing place to Mars. Then in celestial chariots from Mars to Nibiru, where they repaired its atmosphere once again. At this time, Enki built his house in Eridu, described as being raised above the ground like a mountain, where Damkina dwelt, and he taught wisdom to Marduk. And Lil established the bond heaven-earth in Nibiru and Nibru Key, and at its center, he placed a tall pillar on a platform that could not be overturned. Now, does this sound like the first obelisk built on Earth, or the Tekken, what they call it?
Yeah, because I'm trying to imagine what they said. Now, they said he had a column with it makes me think of like the Space Needle in Seattle.
Now, if you look at up in D.C.
Oh,
over
yeah.
Over at Vatican City.
Yeah.
And the one they have in Vatican City is being said that was stolen from Egypt.
Yeah, yep, that's what I heard too. Yes.
Yeah.
But what was on top? You said the obelisk, but you said something about some disc or something. That's what threw me. Why I couldn't get the little visual.
No, it was a tall pillar on a platform that could not be turned over.
Okay, my bad. I thought that they were saying it sat on top of it. Yes, I'm with. So basically, the obelisk, I call it the damn phallus symbol.
Yeah.
Men standing up their privacy on something. But yeah.
But I have an excerpt right here that to describe its function.
Do tell.
All right. From there, beings were raised, the heart of all the lands they could search. Its eyes could scan all the lands. Its net unwanted approach impossible made. Is this a description of the first radar-type instrument that could be that could exist? But look, wait a minute. The last part of that. Its net made impossible unwanted approaches. Does that sound like it could put out a force field?
That's interesting. So what you saying, let me make sure I enter and understand this properly. The obelisk, so that's anybody that's not familiar with that. I always say it's the male phallus symbol that they stand up. But that structure in D.C. that stands straight up with the little point on it like it's a pyramid at the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have it in Egypt and actually a couple of little places across this planet. So what you're saying, Brother Wendell, is that was served as almost like a
lighthouse.
Like a lighthouse, and it could beam out from that little pyramid at the top all around and search and scan stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, now I see the picture.
And the big piece of that, like I said, it could emit some type of a force field because it made impossible unwanted approaches. So with
that, woo! I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
So that means there's got to be some kind of force field that it can emit.
And that would make sense why Washington, D.C. will put the shit where they put it. And they 10.10 square miles, which is really the only area of their corporation, I could see why they put that there then. That's deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It really is. So you think they've got that force field coming out of theirs too?
I don't think they know how to operate shit.
They probably don't have. I'll say this. I'll say this for them in Vatican City too. If they know somebody.
Oh yeah, because Vatican has one too. Yeah.
If they know somebody who knows how to operate it, because you got to have the right stuff in there to operate it.
Exactly.
Right. And we know how they do that. They'll just hijack and say, you ain't going nowhere. You got to live here and show us how to do this. That's how they do that.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Now we don't know for sure if they have somebody in that position or not, but they have the instrument. Because what this also shows you is they weren't building these structures just to be building. They always had a purpose.
Always had a purpose.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, you're right, Vatican City has one also. Dirty MFs. Now we know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. In its lofty house, a crown-like chamber was the center. To distant heavens it peered. Toward the horizon was its gaze. The heavenly zenith it perfected. Is this a description of some type of telescope, or is the top portion used like a planetarium?
Yeah, because I got that visual quite clear. I almost saw either the very tip of it where they can look out and see stuff, or one of the sides of them pyramids they can look around and see stuff. But I got that visual quite clear.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. In its dark, hallowed chamber, by 12 emblems was the family of the sun marked. On these were the secret formulas of the sun and moon, Nibiru and earth, and 8 celestial gods recorded. The tablets of destinies in the chamber their hues emitted. With them in live all comers and goings oversaw. Is this describing a holy or consecrated area where the activity around all the 12 planets could be observed on the tablet of destiny that emitted their colors?
Yeah, that was deep.
See, that was what I was saying at first. Yeah.
See, that thing right there, what that's explaining is they were using that thing like a radar that had a force field. They could stop you when they saw you coming. And they could see you coming from way on out there.
Record, that's what I was saying, Right.
Damn. So, okay, let me get a little visual again. So, the obelisk, I call it the male phallus symbol, but the little thing that stands straight up, it sits in front of the White House. It sits in front of the Vatican. We know they have it in Egypt with the little pyramid thing on top.
Right.
We're saying that that scanning system or force field that they could detect all the way out in the galaxy or our galaxy or solar system, and they could see stuff way out there before it even hits us.
That's
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But they want to sit up here and play with me as we was reading that news story earlier today about some new so-and-so planets that they supposedly and allegedly discovering outside of Pluto.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you see, now see, what they were dealing with, they knew what planets were supposed to be where at any particular time.
At any particular time, absolutely.
So they could fire that thing up and look up there and say, and see when something coming that it shouldn't be coming.
Mm-hmm.
True that, because they had already mapped the celestials, and they mapped them by the ages, so they knew the positions of it. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. This is smoking.
It is. Now, this billions or something years ago, folks.
Mm-hmm.
How long it was, I don't know how long, but it's very important to, Hey, I want to say something else, too. Look here. I've been telling y'all all along that in researching this thing, people out there just take a piece of it here and a piece of it there and tell their own story. Nobody ever goes into this thing because it's off the chain.
It really is. I mean,
it's off the chain. Number one, it's off the chain because of the way it's written, but you have to, as a reader, you have to understand who's writing the book. This is a Russian-born man that grew up in Palestine, that learned Hebrew and learned cuneiform.
And learned cuneiform.
So when he writes, it ain't going to be like we write. He's going to have a word that's supposed to be in the middle of the sentence, in the front of the sentence. Or if it's supposed to be in the front of the sentence, it might be on the back end of the sentence.
This is deep.
It really is. Very.
All right.
Wow.
The Anunnaki are starting to complain about the backbreaking work, as they are also affected by Earth cycles and small.
Here we go.
And small rations of the elixir. They were working hard both in the Eden and in the Absolute. However, the work in the Absolute was harder. They were complaining even though they were being rotated. A fresh crew would be brought from the Bureau as the old crew would be taken back to the home planet for a break. Now the question is this the origin of shift work?
Yeah. It's absolutely shift work. And you know what's cracking me up? Because I'm thinking, us, melanated people.
Yeah.
So we were brought from our little home planet, whatever, brought here to take the gold out, right? And the reason we doing this is because it has to be shipped back and sprayed in the atmosphere. And I love that analogy that you gave, Brother Wendell. Is that like the first form of chemtrail? But anyhow, it had to be sprayed in the atmosphere to repair the atmosphere. So that's just like us, now we chilling at home, whatever. We got it good, comfy, kicking it, this, that, and the third. But for the greater good of our homeland, some of us had to come and get this raw material to repair. So we get here and find out all of that hard work. Like, oh, hold up, partner. This is a little bit too much for a player. You want me out here digging up rocks and crystals and stuff to get some gold? So I can see that. I can see folks complaining about that.
Yeah. It gets a whole lot deeper than that in that little process too, but we ain't got to that yet, so I ain't gonna say nothing about it. But all right. The Azizi are also complaining, but they complaining louder because they didn't have a resting place when they came to pick up the gold for transport to Mars. They were demanding a resting place. So Enlil and Enki consult Anu regarding the complaints of the Azizi, and he tells them to bring Anu to Earth and discuss it with him. Now there they go again. They come down to the city and they got to call Daddy.
They're not doing a very good job with management with handling problems.
They got to call Daddy. All right? Anzu comes to Earth and delivers the complaint to them. Enki suggests telling Anzu of the inner workings of the operation so that he would have a better understanding. They agree to show Anzu the operation in the Abzu and the bond heaven on earth, which is in Nibruki. You know where the Abzu is, right? That's South Africa.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me. Yes.
All right. Nibruki is up there in the area around the Persian Gulf. So you can see the distance they got to travel to communicate and get things, make things happen. All right. They show Anzu everything, including the hallowed chamber inside the tall pillar where the tablet of destinies were kept, and promised relief to the Gigi. They trusted him because his ancestry was counted as royal seed.
Okay.
He was shown everything being done in the 5 cities, and then they returned to Nibruki to discuss the complaints of the Gigi. After seeing all that was going on, Anzu was secretly scheming to steal the tablet of destiny. He wanted to remove Enlil from command and rule the Gigi and the Anunnaki. Enlil makes a mistake and lets Anzu guard the entrance of the tall pillar while he goes for a swim to cool off. He takes the tablets of destiny and quickly gets in the sky chamber and flies to the landing place where the Gigi were waiting for him to declare him king of Earth and Mars. Enlil is stunned when he becomes speechless because of what is described as a power outage. Here goes the excerpt. A description of a power outage. In the sanctuary of Nibruki, the brilliance petered out. The humming quieted down. Silence in the place prevailed. Suspended were the sacred formulas. Immediately, he angrily speaks to Enki as he questions him about the ancestry of Anzu. Then the Anunnaki leaders gather to consult with Anu. He decrees the season of Anzu and the return of the tablets of destiny. Now, Enlil always want to blame Enki for everything.
He does. He does.
He ain't got nothing to do with who this dude's parents is.
And he wasn't around when he took his regular ass to swim. and the stuff wide open.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right, the three Anunnaki leaders, Enlil, Enki, and Nimba, knew that Anzu was pretty much invincible with possession of the tablets of destiny and questioned who would retrieve them and bring Anzu to justice. Nimba encouraged Ninurta to volunteer for the assignment, and he accepts. He goes, I got to make a point right here.
Okay.
We just went over something a few minutes ago about who was doing what and who controlling what.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who to send after this cat, but Mama know who to send after.
You know what? Because I was going to ask you, see, I wasn't finna start nothing, but what had happened was, what I was going to try to say was, okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong, is 10,000 left shoes, Brother Wendell. But didn't they take the damn tablets of destiny from Tiamat?
Yeah, because she was out of line. They didn't take them, but Nibiru took them because she couldn't wait until the law came.
Okay, I get all that, but my point is, they snatched them up from her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are those the same tablets of destiny?
No.
Okay, so that's different.
No. See, Tiamat created or manifested her own tablet of destiny so she could send Kingu out there to fight against the war against the other planet. But see, she did that because she was tired because the law hadn't come yet. They hadn't got their tablet of destiny for their orbit. It was on the way, but she couldn't wait. And she got on line. That's why she got her tail whooped. Okay. Now, these cats here had to ask Daddy what to do. You understand what I'm saying? But now, they get together, they can't figure out who to send out there, but Mama know who to send.
Right. Well, because Mama created her own.
Okay.
Correctly.
Okay. All right. This is a perfect comparison to make right here. She knew to encourage him to go do it because they couldn't make a damn decision.
Wow.
See, and she got children or sons by both of them. You see what I'm saying? So, they all were baby mama.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She wrote it from behind the scenes, but it looked like they doing it.
Right. Well, don't we always do y'all like that though? A smart woman does.
Some of y'all act a fool with it though. See, that's what I'm talking about.
But I mean, she was wise enough to know. I'm gonna go on and let y'all have y'all ego. I'm just gonna give you this word of advice in a humble way. So I get it. I get your point. That's very interesting.
Yes, it is.
All right. Now, and when I go through this little discourse right here, it's gonna prove what I'm saying. He goes to the mountainside near the landing place where Anzu was hiding out. Anzu mocked the Nerder from his hideout. The tablets are my protection. Invincible I am. Now he all big headed.
Yep.
He's talking trash. Lightning darts the Nerder at Anzu directed. The arrows could not approach Anzu. Backward they turned. They didn't work. Back to the drawing board. Enki and Enlil counseled the Nerder and armed him with a special weapon. With your whirlwind, stir up a storm. A whirlwind, by the way, a whirlwind is a helicopter-like aircraft.
Okay.
Let the dust cover Anzu's face. Let it the wings of his skybird ruffle. For his son, Enlil, a mighty weapon fashion, a Tilu missile it was. Is a Tilu missile a laser missile or a laser-guided missile, something like that?
That's what it sounds like.
To your stormer weapon, attach it. When wing to wing near, at Anzu, shoot it. Thus did Enlil, his son, the Nerder instruct. When wing to wing near each other, let the missile fly as a lightning. The Nerder returns to face Anzu and did exactly as instructed, and of course was successful. He retrieved the tablets, captured Anzu as the GG watched from the mountaintop. Then the Nerder goes to the landing place and sets Abgal free. Abgal was the commander of the landing place at that time. He had been subdued by Anzu when he took over the landing place. In other words, he was kidnapped while all this stuff was going on. The GG trembled and kissed his feet. The tablet of destinies were reinstalled and everything returned to normal. Next is the judgment of Anzu. We got a question right here to remind you where they were at this time.
They were on Mars.
No, they were here on Earth. The GG had came down, and they were waiting on Anzu to come back with the tablet of destiny and cheer him on and pronounce him as the king of Mars and Earth.
That's right. So they was talking shit basically too, because they were supposed to have their asses down here.
Yeah, see, at the time he was the commander on Mars.
I got you. I'm with you now.
Yeah. All right. Was the mountainside and the mountaintop referring to Mount Hermon, Israel, or Mount Lebanon in Lebanon? And I have a map that's included with this to show you what proximity they are. Mount Hermon is like I said, up in Israel, actually right at the border, because it's at the southern or southwestern end of the Lebanon mountains, and Mount Hermon is up a little bit further.
Now, my question to you is, when you was describing how they had told somebody to get up in the helicopter and blow dust in his eyes, and then they gave the weapon, put the weapon on there, the laser weapon to shoot at him, a vision popped in my head of those ancient carvings out of Egypt and different places. And I also want to say in Iraq, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, in this document, I have that relief on here and a link where you can go up there and look at that stuff.
Okay, because
I got all this stuff. All this stuff is in that document.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about, though. They have
I know what you're talking about.
They have carvings
that's
in them helicopters and them lasers.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the release. It's called a release. I got this stuff all this stuff right here in the document with a link where you can go up there and look at plenty of it. Cause see, that particular release, somebody had plastered over it and hid it.
Really?
Yeah, and then one I forget who it was in that particular temple, and it fell down, and they discovered it. Like that's how they discovered that.
Ain't that a song? Wow. So I never knew that. I didn't know they had plastered it over. Yeah. And then it was discovered, and then that's when they saw. And family, if you ever saw it, you can't mistake. It's a helicopter all damn day long.
Yep.
Wow.
All day long, it's a helicopter carved in these different temples and stuff. Some say millions of years old. They want to say thousands of years old. Whatever the hell case.
Yeah, that particular one was found at the Temple of Osiris at Abydos.
Yep, there you go. Temple of Osiris. Yep. Helicopters and lasers.
A helicopter, a submarine, a vehicle they call a Zeppelin, then a glider.
Yep. Clear as day that you can't get past it. That's exactly what it was.
And now they plastered all over it.
Yeah, they had plastered over it. Ain't no telling what they've done to it now because over the last few years they've been over there painting over stuff and making everything,
destroying artifacts,
making it look white instead of
sandblasting. Yep, they sure have.
Talking about they repainting something,
and they got
it's getting whiter and whiter.
They got little agents over there doing the work because I've seen clips of film who was doing it, who they had doing it.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But, it's like, whatever, y'all try to whitewash all you want to, but go stand your ass out in that sun. Let's see how you're going to survive that.
And the rocks are still crying out, so they can go.
Yeah, the rocks going to continue to cry out. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And go stick it in the air.
Yep. All right, let's continue. All right, the tablets are returned, and the Nerda brings the offender to justice. To Nibruki, he then returned. In his innermost chamber, the tablets were reinstalled. Once again, the brilliance therein returned. The hum of Medes in the tablets was restored. Before the seven who judged Anzu for a judgment were taken. Enlil and Ninlil, his spouse, Enki and his spouse Enki, the one beforehand as Damkina known, and the sons Nanar and Marduk were there. Nimba also was in judgment. The Nerda of the evil deeds spoke. There was no justification. Let death be the penalty, he said. The Ajiji by right were complaining. A resting place on earth they do need, Marduk and counter-argued. By his evil deed, all the Anunnaki and Ajiji Anzu did in danger. See, he was out of place because he put everybody in danger because he wanted to do something.
Right. He went on, took the little tablets of destiny, trying to take control. Yeah. And then, to me, he was really stupid. He didn't have enough wisdom and knowledge to even take that type of control. I'm just saying. Yeah. So, he put everybody in danger. Absolutely, he did.
Yeah. All right. Enki and Nimba with Enlil agreed. The evil must be extinguished, they said. To death by execution, the seven judged Anzu. With a killing ray, Anzu's life breath was extinguished. Let his body to the vultures be left, the Nerda said. Let him on Lamu be buried. In a cave next to Alelu be laid to rest, Enki was saying. For the same ancestral seed the two of them were. Let Marduk the body to Lamu carry. Let Marduk there as commander stay. So was Enki to the judges suggesting, let it be so, Enlil said. Is this series event the first account of a bounty hunter on Earth? Because that's what Nerda was. He wouldn't got it. He was a bounty hunter.
Oh, that's a good point.
A bounty hunter.
Yeah, he was a bounty hunter.
Ah.
That's a good point.
Azu's execution left the Gigi subdued, but the unrest was still brewing. The execution took place in the 25th Shah. All right? 25 times 3,600 is 90,000 years. They've been on Earth for 90,000 years when that went down.
I'm going to try to calculate that. Wow.
90,000.
All right.
And
we ain't even got to the part where they started experiments yet. They've been here for a long time.
Because that's what that's when you said folks had started complaining. I was like, ooh, because I know that's when the little experiment stuff going to come into play. I'm not going to blow it. So I don't want us.
Be good.
Yeah, that's going to be good. So I don't want us to go any further. I think that's a good stopping point. I'm going to open up the phone lines. Bear with me a second, family. Okay. So if you have a question, comment, I know we went over a lot of stuff tonight. You could press *6 to get in the queue. So *6. Okay, let me take the first call. Let's see, 256. I think I know who this is. 256, your line is open? I think so.
Yes.
Greetings, beloved.
Oh, greetings. I wanted to say love and light to everyone there on the panel and everyone listening. And if I could ask Brother Wendell a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It was a couple of weeks back when you were telling us about the USA.dot.gov.org site.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been reviewing that site. I was so excited. I posted it out there on my Facebook. And do you know, last night we could not get in that site at all.
Oh, Amir, see what you done?
And we read everything on that site. We stayed up all night. It was like daybreak before we went home. We were on the phone talking and reading, and we read the letter that was sent to all the governors, and I'm here in Alabama.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm trying to find that affidavit that was included with the letter so we can become American nationals. And one little simple form that you submit in your state, and you can be an American national and not be having to register your vehicle, because the letter really laid it out to the governor, told them the fact of the option that we all have under the Constitution alternative. So I'm at my wit's end. The site is down. I called the number down there in Washington. It's only a voicemail where they repeatedly just, it's the same old. Nobody returns your call. You can leave a message. So I decided I'm going to call my state office.
They ain't gonna tell you nothing.
So that's my question to you, Brother Wendell. Do you have any direct information of how to acquire that affidavit?
Go to the American consulate.
Were you able to acquire it?
Go to the American consulate.
All right, I'm writing it down.
American who?
The American consulate.org. Amira.
Yes.
Are you near your computer right now?
No. My little phone that I'm on is called a smartphone, and it'll come up on the internet. Oh, I got to just go out on the porch, and I'll get a signal. So what do you want me to do? I can do it right now.
Do it right now. American Consulate. That's one word now. AmericanConsulate.org.
All right. And I heard a brother last night on another call said he had his license plates said American foreign national on it. So that's what I want to do.
Yeah, and the reason I say that because you are foreign to the U.S. corporation. You are foreign to them.
Right.
I'm a living being. I'm foreign to any dead entity. So that was my question. I have been waiting all week to try to get that question in.
Okay. Well, that's certainly a great one, actually, sis, and that's interesting that all of a sudden the site is shut down and none of the numbers work. So apparently,
well, they may be. I don't know what happened. They may be getting slammed. I don't know.
I'm hoping that he's updating the site. That's what I'm hoping. I'm going to be positive on it, but it doesn't say anything about it goes to a something daddy, a GoDaddy site saying that it's been parked. The site has been parked.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the same with that American consulate too.
It ain't coming up.
Mm-mm.
See, I ain't even got a. No, now I got a beep. Now what do we do to try to find that form?
That's interesting. That's yanked too, Brother Wendell. Just so you know. That's interesting. I know why they yanked it.
Yeah, the Department of Transportation is the de facto of the Department of Travel. So they don't want, all of us traveling freely. And it said it had the manual. The governor is supposed to distribute the manual to all his law enforcement to be retrained. So if they come across us American nationals, they'll know what the procedure is.
Right. And they definitely didn't want all of you melanated folk to go ahead and put forth that paperwork to come from under them. Because remember, if you are the heirs to the land and heirs to the wealth, and the corporation is ciphering off of you, that's it.
This is you close. This is the real deal. You close, but this is the real deal. The real deal is this is just in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody on this soil found out how to get their license plate off of their vehicle and have immunity from them folks, that'll shut down that whole system.
Absolutely. It'll collapse them.
It'll shut down the sheriff department. It'll shut down the courts, the traffic courts. It'll actually shut down each state because they survive off of writing them tickets.
Yeah, it'll bankrupt them.
So the only thing I see is U.S. Embassy or Consulate, www.usembassy.gov. It says official list of embassies from the U.S. Department of State.
Hold on.
Yeah, 'cause that's the corporate side.
Hold on just a minute.
Yeah, now I could be looking at it wrong, but I know when I tried to pull it up, it went to the GoDaddy, which lets me know that that particular URL is no longer functioning.
So I just put in the Google search American Consular in Google search, and this is what came up: U.S. Embassy or Consulate.
They done parked both of them.
Okay, so I was right, but I only checked the American Consulate one.
So anyone
that's
was able
why they
to
got rid of it.
Anyone was able to get the forms so we can distribute it?
No,
well,
I went on the site. I didn't have time to, but
Rhonda,
Yes, sir.
Give her my phone number.
Okay. Okay, let me write your number down, Amir. Okay. I think I have it, but just to make sure. Okay, sweetie.
I'll say it out loud. I don't
no,
even
you don't.
care.
Don't say your stuff out loud. You done already got a site shut down. We was trying to go get some
Hey, how about this one? I was on that passport too. It was a simple form to file.
Yeah, I
in
saw
order
that.
to correct the passport.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be classified as a U.S. citizen because now you are dead. It was a simple form, right? So I called them. Of course, it's the State Department Passport Division.
Mm-hmm.
And what they told me basically is if you do not choose U.S. citizen on the application for the passport, then you cannot have one.
Wow.
And I know it's not true because we were given this instruction over 2 years ago of a simple form in order to be classified as an American national instead of a U.S. citizen. You are classified as American national.
Amira.
Yes.
I want you to remember something I've been telling y'all all along. You got to remember something. You are at war. War was declared on you at birth.
That's right. Tell it, brother. Tell it.
That's what you have to keep in mind.
Exactly.
Well, they know they're at war because what he did was told me that and hung up on me.
And hung up on you.
Damn, didn't even say thank you for your time. Any more questions? None of that.
Thank you for my job, pretending to serve you.
Right, what you say pretending to.
Yeah. See, when they get to, and you can't, it's hard. It's a tough situation because the one that you did it with ain't the one that responds. They just trying to keep their job.
Exactly. In their defense.
They stuck too.
That's true.
So they got to eat. A lot of times, you know, people in those positions, you know, they getting paid decent money, but they stuck too because they got to feed their family.
Right. Or they don't know.
Right. Both ways. I try to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and a lot of times they just don't know. They ain't doing what they told to do.
Well, that's true.
Right. I try to keep that in mind, but once
that's
you were
deep,
being
Amir,
so ridiculous.
I was on that site when he gave it to us, and I looked at it then, I bookmarked it, and I'm like, oh, I'll go back to it later. And now y'all telling me the damn site is shut down.
I mean, go try it all day long. I even brought it over to the face of mine so I could just tap the little logo on the face. And I go, whether I type it in or whatever, all it do is go to that GoDaddy.
Yeah, that means they took it down.
Okay. But thank God we read every tab on that site. We wrote down the contact information of the gentleman that wrote the letter to all the governors. Okay, I read the letter myself, so I know what it said to my governor.
Wow.
So I got to get off because my pups are acting up.
Okay. All right, love. Well, thank you for bringing us that. I mean, that's good to know. But I'll get you Brother Wendell's info, and y'all can connect on that.
I sure do appreciate it because I want to get this done for myself. I feel much better having that in place.
Okay. All right, beloved. I'll get you that info so y'all can connect.
Thank you. I yield.
Okay. Thanks, sis. All right. Okay. Let's go to 251. Ain't that a blip? I'm sorry. 231. What'd you say, sis? I am kind of shocked on that because I had went to it when he told us about it. I tagged it. But you know how it is, Sis Divinity. We have so much research. I have to pace when I'm going to bring stuff into research, and the damn thing is shut down. I
tell you.
Okay. Yeah, they really reaching, aren't they? But all of this is a lie, though. Let them tell it. It's all a lie.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. 231. Let's bring in 231. 231. Your line is open.
Peace and love, sis.
Peace and love, beloved. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you? How's everybody? How's the family?
Oh, we're doing well. This baby sis, I haven't heard your voice in a while.
Yeah, I've been listening, just trying to, you guys are putting so much out there. It's tough to keep up, but I'm trying.
I know. We've put a lot out. That's why we've shortened the duration of the calls. Instead of going 4-5 hours, I've brought it back to 3 so we can digest it. Because this information that he's bringing is some of the oldest, so I want to make sure we put all the connections together.
Well, it's wonderful, and I just want to say thank you to Brother Wendell for all his knowledge, and I'm just overjoyed listening to you all the time, and I just wanted to come in and say hey, and that I love you all. I'm putting good vibes up there for everybody, and that's all I wanted.
Okay, well, thank you, sis. Thank you, baby sis. Kiss the babies for us.
I will.
Okay.
Love everybody.
Okay, thanks, sis. Nice hearing from you. Love you too. Okay.
All right.
All righty. Okay, family. So that was the last call. So we're going to wind down. So with that said, Sis Divinity, did you have any last words for the family?
As usual, just thank everybody for joining in and listening and partaking of the conversation. And as usual, also, Brother Wendell blew it out of the water. Blew it out.
Absolutely.
And I cannot wait for my book to come in. I thought I would have it tonight, Wendell, but I don't. So
yeah, you'll get it, sis.
Yes, I want to go. There are so many different characters in this book, isn't there?
Yeah, and the good thing about it, some of them are starting to stick in with me based on the other ancient texts that we had been reading, and especially with the El Holy tablets.
Right.
It's sinking in. So that's a good thing, but there's so many characters. And when he went over that genealogy, just a snippet of it, I know doggone well I didn't have all of those connects with the whole family tree. So, yeah, it's definitely a lot of information. But the thing of it is, it truly gives you a clear picture of the priest stuff that we're dealing with today. It totally makes sense.
It sure does.
Why the structure is set up the way it is. And when he was going over the obelisk, the male phallus symbol in front of these different places, I have to say that one kind of blew my wig back. I never would have guessed that had that many functions to it. Now, the question is, like you said, sis, do they still have control of that to make it function like that today?
Right.
Or did they just know about it and they don't have the control there, but they're putting it there for the symbolic symbol that they are protected?
Let me say something on that. They, like I said, if they know somebody who knows how to operate them, they've been kidnapped.
That's what I was about to say.
But see, that was done so long ago that when over the years or when they left, some stuff come up missing. And we're gonna get to all that type of stuff. We get into
man, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, but
that's gonna be real interesting.
But see, that gives you a clear picture on how they changed the meaning of things that originally were for something else. Because now, like you say, you make the connection with the phallus, because they call it it represents the phallus, but no, it don't.
Mm-hmm.
It had a whole other function.
It sure did. It sure did. So I got to get a little symbol with props now.
Right. Yep. Mhm.
Because that makes a lot of sense.
It sure does.
And I'll give y'all some advice too. If they still have them up there, but I'm pretty sure they do. But you can go on YouTube and listen to some of Zachariah Sitchin's interviews before he passed away.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that, especially now that I have a better glimpse into this particular book. I bet you those interviews are going to really mean a lot more to me now.
Yeah, and also once you get into one or two of those, you know how it works on the internet. Anything that pertains to it going to pop up. Because see, I listen to stuff all the time while I'm doing something else, and a lot of times these people start talking about him because you can't talk about anything related to extraterrestrials or Anunnaki, especially Anunnaki, without his name coming up, because everybody on the bandwagon, selling their little books and whatnot.
Yeah, because people accuse Dr. York of taking from him as well, and I can kind of see what they say there.
I got something on that too.
Yeah, I could kind of see where they're coming from that, but then on the other hand, he provided some detailed stuff too. So that's interesting. But yeah, a lot of people have taken from his work. So that's very, very interesting. So you have any last words for the family, Brother Wendell?
Oh, y'all stay with us, because this thing gets real deep. We ain't even into it yet. Look, we just did what?
Where are we at? What tablet are we at? We
still in the 5th tablet.
We're still in the 5th. Okay.
We ain't done nothing yet. That's 14 tablets and an attestation.
Okay, so we're in the 5th. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay. Well, wow. Well, Brother Wendell, once again, thank you for another great insight into the Lost Book of Enki. I certainly learned a lot. It was off the hook as usual. I kind of had to chuckle about Enki getting a root put on his behind.
I know.
I'm so tell you, I laughed about that for almost a week, man. I'd be driving down the street and just think about that bus out last.
That's kind of funny. And then he gonna mention her vulva. I'm like, no, he didn't have to mention woman's vulva. That's funny. So that's
clear of it.
Yeah, and but she had told him that in the first damn place. He got what he got. So anyhow, that's just hilarious to me. And then, as usual, we learned a lot. And the obelisk, I'll never look at that the same. So now we know what that true function is. And also now we know, and the Osiris, I don't know was that his tomb, Brother Wendell, or was that just a temple where they found the little helicopter symbols, the submarine, and the laser situation?
That's in the temple.
Okay, that's in his temple. So now we know that was a battle among the Anunnaki where the tablets of destiny was stolen, when Aaliyah's shit-starting rapist ass was taking a swim and it got stolen. Taking a swim and the tablets of destiny got stolen. So that was documented.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was carved in stone.
Yep.
So very, 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 very interesting stuff. So I want to thank you again, Brother Wendell. You are doing an outstanding job with reviewing the Lost Book of Enki. And family, I do want to thank you for joining us as well. I know it's a lot of information, but hopefully it is tying into all of the other ancient texts from the creation story myth that we are bringing forward to you. So I do have an announcement to make. Sis Joan, she has been doing the show Talk with Mama Ya. She is going on a sabbatical because she's going to be doing a lot of traveling. So I talked to her briefly today. So she's probably going to take a couple months off. She said she'll probably be back sometime in September. So I will let the family know when she starts back up, Talk with Mama Ya, but her archives are out on YouTube. And for those of you that want to get into the science on some of the stuff, like manifestation, the science of breath, she really put out a lot of good information there. And for those of you that know Sister Joan, she's been in the game a long time on the science spiritual side. So she knows her stuff. So I will highly encourage you to go back and listen to her archives. So she'll be back with us very, very soon. So now I have, Sis Divinity, I have picked back up my book with our boy, Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. So I am hoping to get through that in the next couple of weeks, and we'll try to start putting together a show for you, family, reviewing that on Tarot Reading, Behold a Pale Horse. And ironically, when I picked the book back up this week, because my schedule is starting to clear up a lot more, when I picked it back up, I picked right up on the part, and it just straight blew my wig back, where a lot of I call them their statutes of codes, they want to call them their laws, where the U.S. court had put in a lot of this stuff authorizing them to do covert operation on the people, as well as covert propaganda operations in the media, even down to false flags. And it's right there in black and white. He even referenced where you can find the information. Some of it is top secret, but he put it in this book. And I thought it was very timely because we spent some time last week talking about how they staged these false flag events for the purpose of controlling the population. And I just so happened to pick back up the book and pick up where I left off, and he goes into detail telling you how far back it starts with them enacting their statutes and codes, what they call laws, through executive orders and certain committees to put this in place for the time that we are living through now. So if you can, I would highly encourage you to either pick up the book. Someone has also taken the time to put the entire book on YouTube, so you can even listen to it. Yeah, the entire book is on YouTube. So if you're not a big reader, if you want to take your time and listen to the audio of the book, you could do that as well. And it's also a free PDF if you want to search it. It is this book, when we talked about last week on doing stuff, playing the game of chess and predicting the 10 moves ahead and looking at stuff from above the board and not being a pawn, this book gives you the playbook of the cabal. It's telling you their playbook. So I highly, highly recommend the book. We're going to get into it hopefully in the next couple weeks, probably in early to mid-August, we're going to start reviewing this book, and I highly encourage you for yourself to read it because it gives you a lot of insight on how they set up the structure to try to continue to control the people. Okay.
Let me say something, Rhonda. Right now, what they really trying to get started is a race war amongst the people.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if y'all heard about these two incidences last week. Elder young brother found hanging in Piedmont Park, and another one down in there around New Orleans, down there in that area.
Yeah.
And the police talking about it was a suicide. Now, let's apply some common sense to that. What young brother, 21, 22 years old, gonna leave home where he can hang himself and go down in the park and hang himself?
Exactly, and especially Piedmont Park now.
Yeah.
We don't even hang out in Piedmont Park no more like that.
Yeah.
That ain't even our neighborhood no more.
That is too weird. I looked up at the TV and they had a banner for Piedmont Park and some festival that's about to go on. It just kind of freaked me out because as soon as you said Piedmont Park, I looked at the TV and there it is.
Yeah.
Some kind of festival getting ready to go on there. Wow.
Yeah, and the initial story was that Ku Klux Klan members had been out that particular day handing out recruitment flyers.
I'm sick of them.
And that don't even sound like Piedmont Park. I mean, you know that area too, Brother Wendell, and we know that that's the gay and lesbian area now.
Yeah, yeah.
So that don't even make no damn sense that they would be down there handing out flyers, none of that. Nothing about that situation sound right at all.
No. Now, what it does sound like is what William Cooper is talking about, because these people would plant people in certain places to do certain things.
Right. That's right. That's what it sounds like to me. Absolutely. That sounds more like it. Absolutely. So that book, Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper, what he was afraid that they were trying to do is what they are actually trying to implement now. He tells you the playbook. He's giving you their playbook in that book.
Yep.
And the race riots is one of their covert operations. Absolutely.
And was pushing it like crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. And they're setting the people up for you to be out there marching. You claim for your so-called rights so they can lump you as a terrorist group.
Yep.
And then it's on and popping.
Big time.
So be smart, family. Don't be a pawn on their board. You're supposed to be above the board. Not on the board. So with that said, we will be back next Thursday, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight. I want to thank the callers, Sis Amira. That was great, although you didn't get 2 websites shut down. but
that's our mirror.
I know, that's our mirror. That was great information. Knowing that, I just had to give you a hard time on that, sis. And then it was great hearing from you, baby sis, as well. So, family, thank you so much for your love and support. I definitely value and appreciate you. And I want to thank Sis Divinity and my brother Wendell. You rocked as usual. So with that, family, we're going to say peace, love, truth, freedom,
and justice.
One heart, one mind, and one spirit. And then with that, we're going to say nightfall, and we are going to rock out with some music. I'm trying to find my music here, but we're going to rock out with some music. So with that, love you very much, family. Nightfall.
Love you too. Nightfall.
Nightfall.